The history of book bans and their changing targets in the U.S., from religious texts and anti-slavery novels to modern works removed from school libraries, here's how the targets of censorship have changed over the years. Mark Twain, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Judy Blume, William Shakespeare. These names share something more than a legacy of classic literature and a place on school curriculums. They're just some of the many others whose work has been banned from classrooms over the years for content deemed controversial, obscene, or otherwise objectionable by authorities. Book banning is once again in the headlines. Earlier this year, Utah approved a state law suppressing sensitive material in classrooms. Meanwhile, a group of Georgia moms have gotten attention for attending school board meetings and reading passages out loud from books they find objectionable, such as Jonathan Safran Foer's extremely loud and incredibly close, claiming they are pornographic materials. Though censorship is as old as writing, its targets have shifted over the centuries. Here's how book banning emerged in the United States, sketching as far back as when some of the nation's territories were British colonies, and how censorship affects modern readers today. Religion in the early colonial era. Most of the earliest books bans was spurred by religious leaders, and by the time Great Britain founded its colony in America, it had a long-standing history of book censorship. In 1650, prominent Massachusetts-based colonist William Pickens published the Meritorious Price of Our Redemption, a pamphlet that argued that anyone who was obedient to God and followed Christian teachings on earth could get into heaven. This flew in the face of Puritan Calvinist beliefs that only a special few were predestined for God's favor. Outraged, Pickens' fellow colonists denounced him as a heretic, burned his farm bed, and banned it, the first event of its kind in what would later become the U.S. Only 4 copies of his controversial tract survive today. Slavery and Civil War. In the first half of the 19th century, materials about the nation's most incendiary issue, the enslavement of people, alarmed could be censored in the South. By the 1850s, multiple states had outlawed expressing anti-slavery sentiments, which abolitionist Arthur Harriet Beecher Stowe defined in 1851 with the publication of The Uncle Tom's Cabin, a novel that aimed to expose the evils of slavery. As historian Claire Parfait notes, the book was publicly burned and banned by slaveholders along with other anti-slavery books. In Maryland, free black minister Sam Green was sentenced to 10 years in the state penitentiary for owning a copy of the book. As the Civil War roared in the 1860s, the pro-slavery South continued to ban abolitionist materials while Union authority banned pro-Southern literature like John Aston Cook's biography of Stonewall Jackson, A War Against Immorality. In 1873, the war against books was federal with the passage to the Comstock Act, a congressional law that made it illegal to possess obscene or immoral texts or articles or send them through the email. Championed by more crusader Arthur Comstock, the laws were designed to ban both content about sexuality and birth control, which at the time was widely available via mail order. The law criminalized the activities of birth control advocates and forced popular pamphlets like Margaret Sanger's Family Limitation Underground, restricting the dissemination of knowledge about contraception at a time when open discussion about sexuality was taboo and infant and maternal mortality was rampant. It remained in effect until 1936. Meanwhile, obscenity was also a prime target in Boston, the capital of the state that had sanctioned the first book burning in the US. Boston's book censor challenged everything they considered indecent, from Walt Whitman's list of grads, which the society president called a darling morsel of literary filth, to Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms. Oh my god. Um, so I think that's the part one because now it's already real late and I really want to go to sleep right now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.